YouTube, welcome to my channel, Taylor Talks Tales. I'm back with another book review for you guys. This is actually inspired by a video that I just watched. I'm not going to make it a response video or anything, but I saw a review on a book that I happen to really enjoy that somebody was not enjoying, so I kind of wanted to make a video reviewing my book that I like. Not necessarily sticking up for it, but just sort of giving my thoughts and feelings on it. So yeah, I am going to review Penpal by Dathan Auerbach, and this book started out actually on Reddit, so it ended up being a series of like 6 Reddit posts, and then the author ended up taking those Reddit posts and kind of polishing it up a bit and then publishing it in this collection. So I'll just read the back, it's pretty short, and then we'll get into it. In an attempt to make sense of his own mysterious and unsettling childhood memories, a man begins to reconstruct his past. As the games and adventures of his youth become engulfed by a larger story, he finds that it forms a tapestry of unbelievable horror that he never could have expected. Each chapter completes a different piece of the puzzle for both you and the narrator, and by the end of it all, you will wish that you could forget what he never knew. Alright, so it's actually published by the author. He was known as 1000 Vultures on Reddit, and that's the name of his publishing company. And so the reason why I wanted to make a video about this is that I feel like this is the book that people either love or hate. Like if you go on Goodreads, they're either usually 1 star, or 2 star, or like 5 star. There's just a lot of opinions about this book, and I think it really has to do with sort of what you are going, when you go into the book, what your expectations are, and sort of what your creep factor levels are, and the pacing of the book. There's certain things that I feel like if you go into this, especially because for a while it was very hyped. Back, I think it came out in like 2012 or 2013. It was super hyped, and of course on Amazon there's a bunch of people giving it tons and tons of 5 stars, and people going into it thinking they're going to be mind blown, and then they weren't. I really enjoyed this. I gave it, I think I might have given it like 5 stars on Goodreads, because usually I'll round up, so if it's like a 4.5, I usually round it up to a 5 to be nice. It kind of depends if it's how I'm feeling that day. And I do think this is probably a solid 4.5. It's not a 5, but I really liked it, and I'm going to explain why. So I tend to really like horror that has a lot of image and description, and just like these scenes of just creepiness. And I tend to like slow burn or super fast paced. It doesn't really matter to me, but I really appreciate slow burn. And I feel like this book is like that. And I think a lot of people were bothered by the non-linear timeline because it doesn't really follow from start to finish. Because the narrator, he's essentially going back and reflecting on his childhood and sort of the thought processes of these memories. They're not linear, but that's kind of almost how sometimes you may be processing your own memories. You jump around, you kind of think about these things, and I think that it worked for me. I can understand why people not liking it, and there are just some very creepy scenes. Like basically, the reason why this is titled Penpal is all these stories connect to when the narrator, as a child, they do this class project where you write your name and information on how to contact you at the school, tie it to a balloon, and then the balloon goes up, and you're supposed to essentially hope that somebody's gonna find that balloon, the note, and then reach out to you. So everybody in his class gets somebody responding to him, except for he doesn't, until finally somebody sends some blurry pictures and no return address. So that's it. Throughout the year, though, all the kids start losing contact with their pen pal, but he doesn't. And he just gets more and more of these blurry pictures, and then he comes to a realization about something. And then it just goes from there. It's very atmospheric, and it has to do with like small town. I think this is probably supposed to be taking place in the 80s, if I remember correctly. I don't remember if it was specifically mentioned at the time. It was back in the day. And I think too, a couple of people were complaining about, oh, sometimes the kids didn't really act or seem like kids, which could potentially be a fault of the author. It could also be when you're an adult and you're looking back on your childhood, sometimes you have this, you may not remember things correctly. You may end up putting an adult perspective on a child's situation if you don't remember things. I mean, most of our memories are, you know, they're tweaked, they're false, they're incorrect, really, over time. As much as we don't want to admit it, we don't really remember things accurately. So that could be a case for this book. And yeah, I definitely think give it a shot. I really liked it. It's a very, very fast read. It's only 220-ish pages. And in fact, I could have read more. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I didn't give it a full 5 out of 5 stars, because I felt like there could have been a little bit more to the story. In fact, I wanted a little bit more, but what I got, I enjoyed quite a bit, especially at the end. The conclusion was, I was like, whoa, there's just a lot going on, and it just, it was the book where I felt eerie after reading it, and I still feel creeped out. And again, it's a very subtle thing. It's like people who got creeped out by the Blair Witch Project, where you can just sort of suspend disbelief and just, if you really truly imagine that this was really found footage, and you know, you can get that subtle creepiness, and afterwards when you read it, you start reading up on like urban legends and everything tying to it. At least I did that with a cousin of mine, where we were just obsessed with the Blair Witch when we were much younger. So I kind of feel like this is that a little bit. And you know, again, this book's not going to be for everybody. When you go into it, you're probably either going to like it or you're going to not like it. I enjoy it. I'm a huge creepypasta fan. I read creepypasta all the time. No Sleep is probably my favorite subreddit besides men writing women, and there's like a couple others that I really enjoy. But I definitely give this a shot. Form your own opinions. If you don't like it, that's totally fine. I can totally understand. Everybody has their own opinions. I just happened to enjoy it. Thought it was very creepy and eerie, and there were just certain scenes in the book that just really stuck with me, where I haven't read this in like multiple years now, and I'm still very much picturing several scenes that take place in the woods and stuff. And yeah, and you may have to suspend a little bit disbelief, but it's still enjoyable, and you're still gonna have fun reading it, or at least I hope. So thank you so much for watching my video. Please let me know if you've read this book, and if you did you love it? Did you hate it? Or were you one of the rare people who sort of thought it was just in the middle and just okay? So thank you so much. Please like, comment, rate, subscribe. I will be having a couple more videos coming out pretty soon, so stay tuned. Thank you so much. Happy reading. Have a great day. Bye.